I joined the Air Force. I became a pilot, F-16 pilot, and I always, when I was flying at night, looking at stars, I had that dream to be to travel to space. In 2017, in December, Hazzaa Sheikh Mohammed Barashid, in one of his posts in Twitter at that time, X now, announced the astronaut program. All these, they were selecting astronauts from aviation background because that's one of the biggest skills that they need, especially with the handling like high fast rockets or equipment to inspire the exploration feelings or needs on the young generation.
Thank you so much for joining Mr. Hazzaa for this interview, and it's an honor for Science Digest.
Thank you for
So,
having
with
me.
yeah, so without any further waiting, we'll start with the interview first. Okay, so my first question: what was the key moment that made you decide you want to go to space?
So when you're talking about space, it is something that impacted us since our childhood. I'm talking about my childhood, and when I was a kid, I remember that my ancestor, when we are traveling and going using stars to navigate. This is the stories that we heard from our parents when we are gathering on the fire camp and talking about ancestors, and also they use them also for traveling the stars.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at stars at that moment, and I remembered like, okay, my ancestors used stars to travel. They used them to know the seasons. So I want to go to space. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
I want to be that guy that's exploring space. When I was a kid, I remember I saw a lot of pictures of astronauts and cosmonauts traveling to space, starting from Yuri Gagarin, the first human to space, and also uh, Neil Armstrong landing on the moon, and all of these
Right.
pictures and stories just instilled in me the passion that I want to be an astronaut when I grow up.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so how did you first learn about the UAE astronaut program and what made you confident you could be the part of it?
Well, as I grew up, to be honest with, it was something that I realized it's difficult to be an astronaut in our region, especially in UAE, because that moment when I just graduated from high school, I realized there's no like path to be an astronaut. There were no like astronaut program in the UAE at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the Air Force. I became a pilot, F-16 pilot,
Mm-hmm.
and I always, when I was flying at night, looking at stars, I had that dream to be
Mm-hmm.
to travel to space. And in 2017, in December, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed Barashid, in one of his posts in Twitter at that time, X now, announced the astronaut program, UAE astronaut program announcement, and it was a big thing. So the announcement was a call for everyone, the youth, boys and girls, everyone to apply to be an
Mm-hmm.
astronaut. If you see yourself capable and you have the ability to represent the UAE and the whole Arab nations on board the International Space Station, apply. Without any hesitation, I applied alongside with 4,000 applicants. It was tough competition, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, because they are coming from different backgrounds. Um, all these, they were selecting astronauts from aviation background because that's one of the biggest skills that they need, especially
Mm-hmm.
with the handling like high fast rockets or equipments, and that was an old thing. But these days they are looking for astronauts from different backgrounds, from different skill sets, because each one of them has his own skill set, his own way of solving problem. So when you are selecting astronauts, you need to have this group of people that coming from different background. So it was a very tough selection because it was the first one for the United Arab Emirates.
That's great. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so what were the primary objectives of your mission abroad, Soyuz MS-15?
Before we talk about the objective of the MS-15, I want to talk about the objective of our Astro program in the
Mm-hmm.
UAE.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I mentioned, we did the selection. The objective is to inspire the exploration feelings or needs on the young generations.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to instill on them that going to space is going to open a new frontier for everyone, not
Mm-hmm.
only for aspect of sending human to space, but only for education, for technology, and also impacting the industry here in the United Arab Emirates. All of these objectives are one of things that we are worked on at the beginning to make our mission a successful mission here in the United Arab Emirates. Basically, when being selected, myself and my colleague Sultan Al-Niadi back in 2018, they sent us to Star City, which is a small city on the side of Moscow.
Mm-hmm.
So we trained there. It's the same location, same place where Neil Armstrong, sorry, Yuri Gagarin trained and prepared for his mission. So it was a lot of a history there that we witnessed during our training aspect. The objective of our mission when we went to space in MS-15 was basically to participate in human space flight and to be part of the whole global exploration efforts to conduct experiments, to conduct science, and to inspire youth. So that was the big umbrella of the objectives. And there's also a lot of experiment that we conducted during our stay on board the International Space Station.
Okay, great. That's great. So how did you prepare physically and mentally for the demands of the missions?
So when you're talking about preparing yourself for going to space, it is really a tough phase. So you are coming with your personal experience, personal qualifications. Additionally, you have to go through different type of preparations. There's a technical, there is experiment that you need to conduct on board the station, and also there is things that you need to know about and to fix they getting broke or something on board the station. So when we trained in the first mission, I was training on Star City, training at the mock-up for the Soyuz MS-15. The mock-up is actually it's a replica for the Soyuz rocket and also for the Soyuz vehicle, where we are training to do a daily activities, or I would say the activity of launching itself, going to space. The nominal launch, what's going to happen, what we're going to face, and also of nominal situations like fire, toxic atmosphere, or losing of pressure inside the vehicle itself. These are one part of it. The other part is the experiment that we conducted on board the station. I conducted more than 15 experiments, some of them before the flight, some of them after the flight, some of them on board the station itself, on board the International Space Station. So it was not only with the Russian counterpartners, but also with the ESA space agency, also with the NASA and with JAXA. So it was different variety of experiment I conducted on board the station, and that's the one aspect of it. And the other aspect is the physical preparation. So you have to do daily activities to prepare yourself for launching to space, to know how you're gonna deal with the weightlessness, with microgravity physically, and you have to be ready for that. So we did like one of the training or preparation for that is the parabolic flight, or they call it vomit comet. So it is just a 30 second of weightlessness, but it's a way of giving you the flavor of weightlessness and how what you can expect when you are up on board the station. So and the other things uh, is how to fix the International Space Station. You are so when you are on board the station, you are the scientist, you are the technician, you are the photographer, you are the reporter, you are everything. So you have to
Yeah.
learn how basically how you are the plumber. You have to fix your toilet if it's end up broke. So all of these things you have to know how to fix them. This is part of the skill set that we prepared for during our training.
Okay, that's great. So, can you explain the importance of the UE student design experiments you conducted on the ISS?
So on board the station, as I mentioned, I conducted more than 15. One of them that I would like to share is the one that it's called Endpol. It was a collaboration with JAXA. On that experiment, I showcase of how students on ground, how they can uh, control or program like a robot, floating robot on board the station.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Basically, I was on board the station with this floating robot. It is a JAXA experiment called Entball, where it is floating close to the astronaut, and it's basically interact a little bit with the astronaut. Um, so students on ground, they can interact with this int ball. They can program them, and they can also control them from ground. So that's
Mm-hmm.
really something neat and something important to share with the student on ground. So they have the skill set of how they can control things remotely, especially when it is floating in space.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's great. Okay, so why was it significant to carry cultural symbol like the UAE flag and Al Ghaf tree seeds to space?
Definitely, each one of us, astronauts, cosmonauts, going to space, they are coming from different countries with different mindset, with different, I would say, religions and way of thinking. So the beauty of space is that it's putting all of us together,
Yeah.
forcing us to work together despite all of these differences, and we expecting each other, respecting and working in this harsh environment space. So that's really a beautiful space. And part of it is when we are up there, we are proud of our identity and our heritage and our background. So we thought that taking with us something represents our culture, our religion, our country. That's really important because it's a huge message for next generation. You can advance in science and advance in different aspect of life, but you have to always go back to your roots and carrying them with you or where you can go.
Right. That's, yeah, definitely. So, what systems or tasks on the ISS were you most responsible for during your stay?
So basically, on board the International Space Station, I was basically working with the Russian segment most of
Mm-hmm.
the time. Working with the Russian colleague, I was part of that most of the time. Additionally, I was also conducting couple of my experiments on side the ESA module, Columbus, where
Mm-hmm.
I conducted a couple of the experiment there, like fluidics, where it is interacting with the weightlessness and also with the microgravity impact to the fluids. And that's something that was huge to handle. Basically, when we are on board the station, each one of us has his own like space or like crew quarter where you have your um, personal belongings and your personal space. Plus, you are in charge of like different part of station or different part of rules, like in case of emergency, ammonia, fire, or depressurization. Each one of us must know what he should do in that situation and how he conduct the whole like teamwork together.
Right. Yeah. Great. Okay. So this is interesting. So, what was your first reaction uh, when entering the ISS for the first time?
Believe me, it felt like a dream. It felt like I went back in time to that child looking at stars, want to be an astronaut. Uh, I was like saying in my mind, like I made it. I'm in space. I'm floating. It was really difficult at the beginning just to navigate because it is a big space relatively, but you have to control your body, how you orient yourself. So because at the beginning it felt like you are start to walk again, but you are floating now.
Mm.
So I was bumping my head everywhere and trying to not touch any sensitive equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and it was in a way it is magical because you felt like you are floating, and it's a
Mm.
continuous thing, and everything is floating around you. You have to make sure that it is attached or tethered, and it was something that I want to experience again. And it was really a great feeling just to be on board the station with people that I worked with before, like on training, and I'm now with them on board the station, living with them and conducting science. So it was a moment that I will not forget.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the next question is also interesting. How did you feel when you first saw your country from the space?
Yes, so one of the things that all of us astronauts agreed on is looking at Earth from space. It is an overview effect, that's what we call it, and it is overwhelming feeling of
Mm.
being fragile, being like floating in space, looking at your planet Earth. At the beginning, as you mentioned, I was looking to my country, trying to
Mm.
search for my country, waiting for the pass to come to that I am passing over the United Arab Emirates and trying to know the places. Where's my school? Can I see my school? The big road, any like big features that I can recognize, like mountains or desert or something.
Mhm.
And as 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 I keep going and orbiting Earth and looking at Earth from 400 kilometers, I felt like looking at Earth is magnificent, is overwhelming, and it's surreal. It's feel like this the whole planet is your country, the whole
Right.
planet is your home, and you have this feeling of you want to come back to that place, and you remind yourself like I am here. Just few people made it to space.
Just
I should
exactly.
work hard. I should represent not only my country or the Arab region, the whole earth, the whole humans on board the station, because it is a unique place where we're conducting experiments and science, not only to help ourselves up there, but to help people on ground. So all of these thoughts and ideas came to my mind when I was looking at Earth. Definitely looking at my country, it was something that I was happy about. I took a lot of pictures day and night of my beloved country and different places of Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and at night also they look so beautiful, so amazing because at night you can see different things because of the city lights and the roads. So I shared all of them in the social media accounts also.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Definitely, indeed, UAE is a beautiful country. It's amazing. Okay, so how did you structure your day abroad, the ISS between experiments, maintenance, and personal time?
So on board the station, the time is very precious. It's important um, to structure your timeline really very carefully. So basically, the timeline for each one of us is coordinated, planned, structured 3 weeks ago. So 3 weeks ahead, everything is set for you. So in terms of when you're gonna wake up, the hygiene time, breakfast time, maintenance or experiment time, all of these are scheduled, and we have this. Each one of us has his own laptop and his own iPad with the timeline. His name is there, and usually day before, at night before I go to sleep, I will open my schedule and I will check my timeline. So when we are talking about the International Space Station, it's orbiting Earth. It's not like stationary in space. So we are passing, we are like making 16 orbits in one day. So we are
Yeah.
witnessing 45 minutes of a daytime and 45 minutes of a nighttime. So it's not our working hours timeline. We are working London timeline, the Greenwich time. So basically, at 6 a.m. Greenwich time, we are waking up using using our that time is like 30 minutes for hygiene, preparing our food for breakfast. At 7 a.m. we starting. They call it the daily brief with the ground stations, not only with NASA space or Johnson Space Center mission control, but all like centers, JAXA, ESA, Roscosmos. So we are doing this daily brief. So we are getting the updates if there's any, and then we are starting looking at our program. For example, one day that I have exercise, and the exercises, the physical exercise is mandatory. Every day we have to do like 2 hours to 2 hours and a half of physical training, because that's a way of reduce the impacts of being in weightlessness in our body. And it's scattered for each one of us through the day, so we can deconflict from each other and the equipments. And also the other part of it, the timeline, there's usually maintenance. So we are the guys that the engineers, the technicians, the plumbers that gonna fix everything over the station. So we are fixing all of these stuff if there's any, and also updating any equipment if it's required. And then there's the experiment part. So usually when there's an experiment that we have to conduct, there is scientists on ground. They are waiting for us to be like in communication with them. So we are waiting for that communication to happen, and then we are conducting our experiment. In which this person from, probably his time is maybe night or early morning or at the middle of the day. So it depends. So we're communicating with them, and then we are starting our experiment. Usually we are setting up our cameras, our review, so that the scientist on ground, the one that responsible for this experiment, is looking at our hands and our way of conducting the experiment. And usually we are prepared, we trained with the same guy on ground before our flight. So we know them, and we just working with them just to understand what's happening in this experiment. And the other part is usually it is free time, and that free time we use it to take pictures of Earth from window, the big window that's facing Earth, cupola. And at the end of the day, we just gather up together at the place they call it Node 1. Node 1 is the place where we have this galley. It's a place to prepare the food, and there's a table there. We just prepare our food, chat together, and talk about our day, and usually our favorite things back on ground on Earth.
That's interesting. Okay, so can you share a memorable moment or challenge you faced in microgravity?
So I think memorable thing is floating in space, looking at Earth, and the first time it was I'm still on the way going to dock with the station. It was the first time that I experienced weightlessness. So when you launched from Baikonur, the launch itself from ground to reach 200 kilometers, about 9 minutes. So in 9 minutes, the boosters will stop. That we reached 200 kilometers, and we will experience weightlessness for the first time. We are still getting further from Earth, and when I looked at the window that I had on my right, I saw Earth there. It's getting smaller and smaller. So that's the feeling that I want to just experience again, and I want to just had that moment again, because it was something that like a dream come true for me. I'm looking at Earth getting smaller, looking at my colleagues, Jessica Mir from NASA and the commander from Russia, Oleg
Mm.
Skarbechka. So, so we're like happy and excited about it. We are experiencing weightlessness, playing with our pen, and it was amazing feeling. And we continued our ascent from 200 kilometers to 400 kilometers to
Mm.
reach the International Space Station. That's something that I will not forget, definitely.
Right. Yeah. This is space station, I guess, is around 400 kilometers above. And this
Yes.
is something also fascinate me. Like, I don't know if I could face this experience, but definitely it's required a lot of training and so many things. Indeed, that's interesting. So, how did giving the first Arabic language guided tour of the ISS feel, and why was it important?
Arabic language is my mother language. It's language that I spoke since my childhood, and we have few Arab astronauts went to space. From the first Arab astronauts, Prince Salman bin Sultan. Um, so from the first astronaut Sultan bin Salman to Mohammed Faris from Syria to myself, and each one of us went to space in a different or to a different destination. Prince Sultan bin Salman went to space to the space shuttle. So he went and spent 7 days approximately on the space shuttle itself back in 80s. Mohammed Faris went to Mir at that time, and myself went to the International Space Station for the first time, and I was presenting the whole Arab region on
Yes.
that on board the station. So
Mm,
it was crucial to share this moment with the Arab people and who speak Arabic, because they want to understand this magnificent, I would say, machine station, ISIS, orbiting Earth. What is the importance of that place, and what is the benefits of being going to space? So they can understand it. So
mm,
speaking in Arabic was one of the things that one of the main objectives to share with the audience in the Arab region,
mm,
our journey and our experience on board the station, and also it's a good message to everyone that is um, we are here on board the station. We are representing the whole Arab region, and also the idea is to continue, because after that flight, we didn't stop there. We continued our preparation, and we did another 6 month flight with my colleague Sultan Al Niadi, which is
mhm,
have been done 2 years ago.
mhm. That's great. And for Science Digest, it's an honor. Like before, in back in 1986, my father he in person met Prince Sultan bin Salman when he was on a visit in Karachi. So he interviewed as in person, and we published his interview. And now I have an honor that I'm interviewing first Arab and Emirati who has been to ISS first time.
Thank you.
That's great. Okay, so did you notice any unexpected effect on your body or mind during your time in space?
Going to space is fun and it is interesting, but there is also a side effects to our bodies from being in floating there. Your body is experiencing out of changes, especially with
Mm-hmm.
the gravity change.
Mm-hmm.
So we call it fluid shift. So basically, the fluid that's been down in your lower body is going up because there's nothing pulling them down, and that's gonna cause a headache, congestion in your nose. So the taste of smell and tasting things is gonna be going down, because it's feel always that you are sick and you are having this feeling of you want to add like salt to your food or something. So
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting to have this continuously through the whole flight. And the headache is going down as you progress with your timeline and your days on board the station.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that we are facing is radiations. So it is very harmful to be in on the station, because it's we measure that about you are having you are doing about 30 X-rays per day with the
Mm-hmm.
dosage. station that you are getting when you are on board the station. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that bad, but it's still it is a lot of things that
Yeah.
scientists in ground they are looking at and they want to us to understand. And the other thing is muscle muscle atrophy and bone density impact with time you are spending on board the station. Because of that, we have different equipment
Mm.
exercises that we have to conduct on board the station to mitigate the impact of weightlessness or microgravity on your body. Um, so we have to do, like as I mentioned before, 2 hours to 2 hours and a half of exercises, so that when you are coming back from from space to Earth, so we have a less time to recover from that
Mm.
impact.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so you conducted around more than 15 experiments. So which experiment or observation from your mission do you think had the most scientific value?
I think each one of them they have their own scientists and their own way of the way that they are important to the scientist and the benefit. Maybe they need sometimes more than one astronaut to get the results. Some of
Mm-hmm.
them they are like an ongoing experiment being conducted before me, like for a couple of years, and after me also. So for me, it's one of the things that I really was interested about is they call it um, time perception in space, because most of the astronaut they are talking about their experience in space or time perception is we are feeling that time is going faster than we have in ground here, and
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things that one of the scientists they want to understand why. And so before the flight, during the flight, and after the flight, I did the same experiment, so to compare the impacts before, after,
Mm-hmm.
and during. So it's basically wearing a goggle. It's virtual, and you have like a button. You have the headset,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a recording you have to go through, and you have to answer like the feeling of 1 minute. How long have been since we started this session? A different question to understand the impact of feeling of time perception in space. So because the scientists they want to understand what is the impact of being in space in floating environment,
Mm-hmm.
impacting our way of feeling or perceiving the time itself. So it was a very interesting experiment. It's just still
Mm-hmm.
ongoing experiments. I'm looking forward to see the final result when it's gonna come up.
Sure. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Okay, so how do you think your mission has influenced the UAE's role in global space exploration?
So when we are talking about space exploration, we are talking about satellites, probes, sending rovers, and also sending humans. So it is a full circle. So in UAE, in Mohammed Bash Space Center, since the establishment of the center back in 2006,
Mm-hmm.
the idea is to start this idea of sending astronauts, satellites, rovers as we go and as we progress. So they started with developing satellites and reaching the state where we can develop our own satellites here in house in UAE. And then we started our UAE astronaut program, and then also at the same time sending probe to Mars, Hub probe, and
Mm-hmm.
also working in landing on the moon with the first rover, Rashid rover, which is unfortunately end up crashed on the moon. But we are working the second one now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a full circle of working here on ground and establishing the capabilities, the knowledge, and the engineers, the human part,
Mm-hmm.
the industrial part of it, the educational part, all of it is working together. Nothing, but however, nothing like human space flight, because the impact of seeing someone carrying your flag, talking your language, or
Mm-hmm.
represent the whole region, it is totally different thing, because kids can relate to that better than machines that's sending to space. So I believe the human space flight that we conducted here in UAE that
Mm-hmm.
has it has a huge impact in our culture, in
Mm-hmm.
our education system, in our industry, and it's ongoing. So now we are 4 astronauts. We are, as a UAE is part of Artemis Accord. We are we're gonna continue our human space flight in future. So it's all coming together,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing like igniting the spark on the kids, and
Yeah.
you walking on the street, or maybe in the mall, or going to schools or visits, and meeting kids and interact with them, and knowing that somehow you are part of that ignition and that spark that they
Mm.
are having now, and it's may end up they are doing amazing things when they are grow up and they are choosing their career or their job.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Okay, so did the view of Earth from space change how you think about our planet and its environment? So, yeah.
Sure. So when you are looking at Earth from space, you can see different things. You can see mountains, you can see forests, deserts, rivers, oceans, and you can see forests that being destroyed, the pollution in the atmosphere. You can see that from space. You can see different things that you feel really sad about it, and you want to change it, because when we are on board the station, everything is calculated: the temperature, the humidity, the
Mm-hmm.
oxygen,
Mm-hmm.
how amount of CO2 on board inside the station, how we can scrub that, how we can clean the atmosphere. It's all calculated. All there's different equipments on board the station that working 24/7 just to make sure that we are living in a healthy environment. All of this is free here on ground.
Mm.
So when you are thinking about it, oxygen is coming from trees, and um, oceans cleaning our climate and controlling our climate. All of this stuff, it's for free, but we have to take care of that to make sure that we are keeping it for generations to come. So always when I'm showing pictures of Earth, I tell
Mm.
the kids and the audience they have to take care of this planet, because it's the only planet that we know that
Yes.
we can live on. So it's not for us, not for our next generation, but for so many generations to come. So they have to understand that, and it is important to take care of our planet, because it is the only ship that's taking us in space for free.
Yeah, absolutely right. So, what lessons from your mission will shape future UE astronaut training?
Definitely. So after my mission and after Sultan's mission, both of us we came up with a plan to how to have a sustainable training here and within our astronaut corps here in UAE, and
Mm-hmm.
how to be prepared for future missions. So basically, when you are talking about astronaut training, it is ongoing training, from doing different experiments, from conducting scuba diving, to prepare for NBL training, which is neutral buoyancy laboratory, where it
Mm-hmm.
is the system pool in the world. They have submerged mock-up of the station. So we are training on that till this moment, but we have to be ready for that. So we are training on the scuba diving, training on we call it soft skills, expeditionary skills, like going outdoors, doing geology trips where we have to understand the rocks, how they are uh, happened to be here and or in this location. We understand that because it is gonna help us on the future when we are
Mm-hmm.
gonna land on the moon, to have a better skill set. So all of these is like part of preparation for our astronauts. So in case if there's a future missions going to the moon or beyond, we're gonna be ready for that. And also the other side of it is how to be part of a team by conducting a training with different astronauts and cosmonauts from other countries. So, for example, colleague Mohammed Al-Mulla, in a couple of weeks, he's gonna fly and work with ESA astronauts on
Mm-hmm.
one of his training. So basically, they are working together and understanding that astronaut teamwork and living together in a very harsh environment here on ground, like caves or in Antarctica or places that it is
Mm-hmm.
really challenging.
That's great. So yeah, my very next question is about like do you see yourself taking part in a moon or Mars mission? Like I've seen NASA is planning in 2030, and we before that we have interviewed Elisa Carson, so she's going to be like first person on Mars. So are you planning to be part of that mission, or what exactly your
So
thought?
yes, we are living in a very exciting time in terms of human space flight. There is big efforts, not only from governments, also from private sector, to be part of a human space flight, to participate on space exploration. So that's really interesting, and that is really what we need to happen to have that culture of space exploration.
Mm-hmm.
So in the UAE, Mohammed Bash Space Center, we are now currently working with our partners
Mm-hmm.
at NASA and different also other agencies and developing the gateway. So as we mentioned before, UAE announced that going to be building the airlock for the gateway. So that's ongoing work. So we are going to develop that part of segment or module of that gateway station. So it's going to
Mm-hmm.
orbit there. So part of that agreement, we're going to send also one of our astronauts to be part of airlock installation and
Mm-hmm.
airlock um, first time that they can delivered to space.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go. I want to go again. I want to experience weightlessness. I want to go and land on the moon. But it's also part of the team. So whoever gonna go on that flight gonna represent the whole country
Mm-hmm.
and gonna represent all of us, all of the UAE astronauts. So we are really excited about it, and we are really preparing ourselves currently to be getting ready for that flight. So, as you know, as we go forward and we progress in our timeline,
Mm-hmm.
probably then another opportunity gonna reveal itself, and another option gonna came up where we can land on the moon or maybe sending astronaut to Mars. And usually, I can guarantee for you that UAE is always betting in the first. So
Mm-hmm.
gonna be in the first people that's going to Mars if there's the opportunity. So we learned that from our leaders, and we are always getting ready as our team here in Hamad Prash Space Center to send astronauts, to prepare people in ground, to be the operationals, to be the engineers, everything. So um, if they give me the chance, I will go.
Inshallah. Yes, hopefully. Okay, so my final question to you. What is your personal message to the next generation of Emirati Arab? And I would also like to add Pakistani young minds in space exploration.
My message is to have curiosity and to have this passion. If it is about space, keep feeding yourself with the knowledge, with the information. Be up to date, and always remember that if you work hard on yourself, mentally, physically, and you have the faith that anything gonna happen for you for a reason, just you will end up in a good spot in your life. For my colleague Pakistani young generation, I want to tell them that you have a lot of opportunity in the future. Just if you have a dream, work hard on that, and work hard to make it happen. Don't let anyone tell you what you can do or what you can do. Okay, so just make sure that you are prepared mentally, physically, feed yourself with the knowledge. Space is for everyone, but you have to show yourself and show your skill set and show your ability to compete. And I believe in future, probably, hopefully, we'll see one of Pakistani astronauts who are flying together and
Yeah.
exploring space
Mm.
together.
Hopefully, inshallah, in future. And indeed, thank you so much for your time, Haza. for this valuable interview. So see you inshallah in future.
See you.